Hi, everybody. This is Dave Jones with Storm Center Communications and GeoCollaborate. It's Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. This is an update for the All Hazards Consortium, the sensitive information sharing environment where we share information across platforms from private sector liaisons and state emergency operations centers into private sector organizations like energy, food, fuel, medical supplies, logistics, all that stuff. So we can stay on the same page with weather briefings and impacts as they may be anticipated from weather and environmental events. We certainly have a weather event today. This is Hurricane Erin. Erin has spent most of the day getting its act together. We said that last night when it had quite a bit of shear going into its westward end, but it has gotten rid of that. Shear has eased. And now, not only do we have a hurricane that's on the border of a Category 3 hurricane, we have one that has a concentric eye wall structure from the Air Force hurricane missions that have been flying in there today, seeing a double eye wall. That will actually act to hamper any sort of rapid development or intensification. As a matter of fact, the Hurricane Center is only going for another 5 miles per hour or so, maybe 6. But that would put it into a Category 3. Let's take a look at the statistics. Right now, as of 5 p.m., so this is just 5 minutes ago, the National Hurricane Center told us this is what Erin looks like right now. And look at all these capital letters for the Hurricane Center and what they want to stress. As of 5 p.m. today, advisory number 38 on Hurricane Erin, the outer bands of large Hurricane Erin nearing the North Carolina Outer Banks. Beachgoers are cautioned against swimming at most U.S. East Coast beaches due to life-threatening surf and rip currents. Yes, that means you out there on the Cape in Massachusetts. Yes, in Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Long Island, even up towards Maine. Waves are starting to make their way up towards the Maine coastal area. This hurricane is generating very strong waves, and you might think you can handle an undertow, or you might see a rip current, say, I'm going to swim over here in this area, but you'll notice that the water is much stronger than on a typical day. I'm going to shift this down just a little bit. You can see the Outer Banks of North Carolina right here. It is located as of 5 p.m., 31.2 north, 73.6 west, 520 miles west of Bermuda, about 295 miles south-southeast of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Maximum sustained winds 110 miles per hour with higher gusts to about 125. Minimum central pressure 943 millibars, and the movement, notice this now, north at 14 miles per hour. So not only has it picked up in its movement, its speed, it's starting to get influenced by the mid-level westerlies. And it will be picked up, and it will start to accelerate over the next couple of days on its way out of here. But in the meantime, it has a lot of business it needs to do with the East Coast. South Carolina, rip current advisories, Florida coastline and Georgia coastline, rip current statements, and heavy surf advisories all the way through North Carolina and Virginia and Maryland. And tropical storm warnings in effect for the Outer Banks of North Carolina, and also up to Virginia and up to Ocean City, Maryland, off the land. Just over the water, east of Ocean City, tropical storm warning. That is true all the way up to the New Jersey coastline. This is a pretty amazing storm. I'll take the statistics out here. There will be an intermediate advisory at 8 p.m. tonight. And the next advisory, the full advisory, will be at 11 p.m. So this is the way that, look at how concentric Erin is right now. No wind shear at all, basically. Little bit of dry air coming in through this band here. I can show you that on the enhanced satellite image. But look at this, the outflow, the cirrus outflow. Yes, Columbia, South Carolina, when you looked up in the sky and you saw those Cirrus clouds, that was outflow from Hurricane Erin, as well as you in Richmond, Virginia. When you looked and saw that cirrus cloud up there and flowing over you, yes, that's from Erin. Washington, D.C., Baltimore, Annapolis, over into Delaware, all outflow of cirrus clouds from Hurricane Erin. Let me enhance this just a little bit and show you what it looks like here. This is the low-level moisture from the GOES satellite image, and you can see Erin, it's got a really tight structure here, a very small eye, and it has been developing that eye during the course of today. This is where all the moisture is. You can see maybe a little bit of less moisture out here on the western side because of that wind shear. But it is, look at this, moving up into the jet stream. See the jet stream? There's a trough of low pressure moving in from the west. That is going to help to force Erin to move out to the east and get caught up in here and be out of here. So it may impact Bermuda with some tropical storm force winds over Thursday into Friday because it has such a large wind field. A lot of dry air over Ohio and Indiana and Illinois, but this is where all the moisture is right now in the southeast, and Erin is generating quite a bit of wave action. Now, before I dive into impacts that Erin's going to have on the East Coast, I do want to let you know that we are also watching way out towards Africa another Invest. It's called Invest 99L. We're going out here to the African coast. How can we do that? Well, we can do that because of the Meteosat 10 satellite owned by EUMETSAT. This is the European satellite, and this is Invest 99L right now. It actually looks pretty impressive. It has a distinct circulation here. This may already be a tropical depression, but the National Hurricane Center just is going to be watching this move to the west. In the long term, it looks like it probably doesn't have a chance of reaching the United States. And there's also another, look, here the Lesser Antilles right here. Here's Barbados, way over on the limb of the earth. There is a tropical wave that's moving to the west here that may end up be developing into a tropical system that looks like it might curve up towards Bermuda by next weekend. We'll cover all that, and yet there's another interesting tropical wave coming off the African coast. But we'll talk about that later when it becomes a situation for us here in the United States. But this is Hurricane Erin. Now let's get down to some details on what is happening with Hurricane Erin. And I'm going to go over to GeoCollaborate first and show you the wind field, how big the wind field is right now. And this is what it looks like. So inside is the radius of hurricane force winds. We've talked about that for several days now, and look how broad it's gotten. Here is 50-knot winds. These are called storm force winds. And out here is the tropical storm force wind, the wind field. And so as Erin moves to the north and then starts to curve to the northeast, you can see these tropical storm force winds are going to pass over the Outer Banks of North Carolina and possibly even parts of lower eastern shore of Virginia and Maryland. Perhaps there is a tropical storm warning off of the coast of Maryland, not on the land, but it is on the land for places like Virginia Beach and down to the south across all of the Outer Banks of North Carolina. We have a lot of wind that's blowing, and remember 110 mile per hour winds around the center, but it also has very strong winds, 50-knot winds coming around this way, tropical storm force winds, and the Outer Banks are going to start feeling those tropical storm force winds and getting rain showers pretty soon. As a matter of fact, let me go over to North Carolina. So here's what it looks like right now. You can see those spiral bands. As a matter of fact, look at this. Here is the spiral band, or the outer one. Look at this, creating some showers and storms. Very brief, but heavy downpours and also limiting visibility, impacting here from New Bern down to Jacksonville, North Carolina, Wilmington. Oak Island is getting some scattered showers now. This video sent in courtesy of Dave and Laura Westover. Really some awesome surfing conditions there as these folks do their best to stay up. Whoa! But these waves are now getting much more chaotic, if you will, since Hurricane Erin is getting much closer to the coastline with its outer bands and the wind field. So thanks a lot for that video. And that is where Oak Island is, right here, just south of Wilmington. And you can see just off the radar is the center of Hurricane Erin. But these heavy rain showers are tropical storm. They definitely have tropical storm force winds in them. And we're hoping and we're thinking that it's going to be the case that not much in the way of rain is going to be impacting the United States. Now, on the outer banks of North Carolina, you're likely to get into some of these spiral bands, which will cause some heavy rain. But the big issue for the outer banks is going to be the surge and also the wave action. Now, as we go back to the visible satellite picture here, you can see Erin obviously right there in the middle of your screen, and it looks to me like it's moving slightly, ever so slightly, to the east of north, which is great, which means it could be starting its turn, but it also could be a wobble in the eye. We don't like to look at that so closely and say every image, boy, it's moving this way or that way. But we are getting impacts from Erin on the beaches. Let me show you what it looks like from the standpoint of some of the coastal areas that are going to be getting some heavy surf. This one here, Virginia Beach, this is a new dashboard we put together today just to show you what they're going to be dealing with in Virginia Beach, what you're going to be dealing with for the rest of today. Very high rip current risk, surf height 5 to 7 feet, and easterly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. So not incredibly strong, but the wave action is already starting to impact the beaches in Virginia Beach. Thursday, look at this, very high rip current risk, likely that the beaches will be totally closed. Surf height 9 to 12 feet. There's also in Virginia Beach a surfing championship going on there. So they're going to have massive waves, but it's also going to be very dangerous with high rip current. Look at the windy conditions. North winds 30 to 35 miles per hour, some gusts to 40 to 45 miles per hour. That's why they have a tropical storm warning in effect for Virginia Beach. They also have beach hazards statements up, high rip current risk statements up from the National Weather Service, and a high surf advisory. Here are the tides for Virginia Beach. Tonight at 6:33 p.m., tomorrow at 1:08 in the morning is a low tide, and then high tide again Thursday at 7 a.m. So there could be some local inundation of low-lying areas along the beach there. We're going to keep an eye on this. Let's move a little bit further to the north and take a look at Ocean City in Maryland. So Ocean City in Maryland, your high tide tonight is at 7:10 p.m., and there could be some localized flooding, but tomorrow's high tide at 6:59 a.m. is going to be something to see and something to be very careful when that high tide comes. And then also there's a low tide at 12:51 p.m., but then high tide overnight on Thursday into Friday morning, which is going to perhaps breach some dunes in the northern parts of Ocean City. High tide is coming up in Bethany Beach. We can get a little bit closer here and show you what it looks like. So that is some strong wave action going out. And there's also, looks like, I don't know if that's somebody out there swimming, could be a surfer right here. Hopefully they're on a board waiting for that wave. And I know that surfers tend to look for the rip currents so they can get taken out easier to catch the next wave. But let's get a little bit closer here and go full screen. So yeah, that looks like a surfer out there, but look at these waves right now. As high tide comes into Bethany Beach, that beach disappears. There were quite a few people out there today, and there's some more surfers making their way to the waves to get out there. But it is a very dangerous ocean, and you have quite a few onlookers as well. It's after 5 o'clock, so the lifeguards are off duty. The next couple of days in Bethany Beach, Delaware, South Bethany, down towards Fenwick Island, is going to be very hairy as this storm passes off the coast. It's that broad wind field, the big wind field, that's going to be influencing how much water gets pushed. And if we take a look one more time here at GeoCollaborate, and I'll show you this, that is why we are so concerned about this coming onshore with these onshore winds and the heavy wave action that's going to be not only creating rip currents. We're pretty confident that people are going to stay out of the water, but look at the influence it's having all the way up the coast. So these are heavy surf advisories, small craft advisories, tropical storm warnings, all the way up past Long Island, all the way through the coast of Rhode Island and also Connecticut, out across the Cape in Massachusetts, Boston, up towards New Hampshire and Maine. A lot of advisories, heavy surf from this storm kicking up all of this water. With Hurricane Erin spinning out there, and it's almost a Category 3 hurricane, you can imagine, once again, like I showed you yesterday or the day before, the marine traffic is avoiding this area. This is what it looks like, and take a look. Boy, oh boy, you can really tell where Hurricane Erin has its influence right in here. And it's continuing to move up in this direction. No ships in this area right now, and that's a good thing. There are a couple that are looking right around the periphery, and I can tell you they're feeling the wave action. And there are quite a few ships that are here trying to stick close to the coastline and then get down and out of the way of Erin as Erin moves to the north. GeoCollaborate right now is showing Erin right here, but we're also monitoring the NOAA P3 aircraft. And look at this, where they are flying to the south of the storm right here because they're involved in a research project, dropping dropsondes over the ocean so we can match those observations with ocean observing systems. And here are those ocean observing systems. Look at this. The P3 has dropped more wave drifters in the path of the plane. Look at this. This one was just dropped, and it's already reporting data. 10.2 foot waves with a period of 9 seconds. And look at this. This is another wave drifter that was just dropped as well. 11.7 foot waves right here. And as we get a little bit closer to the southern part of Erin, 16.7 foot waves. This is real time, and these drifters were dropped into the ocean just a short time ago from this NOAA P3 aircraft for this experimental research that they're doing. Now I'm going to move up to the north because I want to remember the wave drifters that the students dropped off of Wilmington. This is from UNCW out of the RV Cape Hatteras. Look at where the drifters are now, and look where the hurricane is. Oh, look, there's one right here by the eye. This is a surface temperature, sea surface temperature, 83 degrees just about. And it's also, look at the pressure. Oh, I don't see the pressure here. Maybe it's on another one. Let's take a look at the waves. Look at what's happening here. 15.8 foot waves happening right here off the coast of North Carolina. So there's 15.8 foot waves here. Let's look this direction. 17.8 foot waves, and these are just off the coast of North Carolina. I'm going to do something here. I'm going to change the opacity of this satellite picture a little, just so you can see the coastline, and there's some radar data coming through as well. So there we go. I'm going to move this down just a little bit so we can see it. There's the center of the storm. Here's the coastline. Here's the outer banks where the tropical storm warning is. So you can see just showing up on radar now these spiral bands that are coming around the hurricane, which have very strong winds in them. But these wave drifters, look at this, right off the coast of Wilmington, 10.7-foot waves. They are moving towards the coastline here as well. This drifter down here, 13.4-foot waves with a wave period of 16 seconds. But it's really great to see these wave drifters that were dropped by the students, deployed by the students, are taking real-time measurements and helping the National Hurricane Center and also helping us deliver this information to emergency managers so they can see what kind of waves are headed towards the coastline. And now what I want to do is turn on the National Weather Service buoys for ocean observing. And so I'd like to do that here, and let's see how many of those are reporting right now. Look at that. There are a lot of buoys here, some that are very close to the coastline, and we can see what's going on. Here's one very close to Wilmington. We're talking about, this one doesn't have a wave height, but it is gusting to 15.6 knots. Let's go up towards the Outer Banks. Here's one gusting to 31 knots. Water temperature, 85.8 degrees. Let's see if we can find one. Here we go, 13.1-foot significant wave right here just off south of Cape Hatteras, or just southeast of Cape Hatteras here, 13.1-foot waves up towards the northern or central parts of the Outer Banks, 7.5-foot significant waves at a 15-second dominant wave period. And here's one just to the north here. I'll move this down. 10.8-foot waves. So the water is really picking up. The waves are picking up. The winds are picking up as well. Here's the wind field. Look, it shows it all still off the coast. So we're gusting to 31, but 35 knots is a tropical storm force wind, which is 39 miles per hour. Okay, what's going to happen over the next few days? Luckily, Hurricane Erin is expected to remain off the coast. That means that the core of the storm is going to remain over the ocean. It is not a fish storm. I don't call them or refer to them as fish storms. You know why? Because we were looking at this. Their ships and maritime traffic moves billions of dollars towards the economy every single day, and that's why it is not a fish storm. It is absolutely impacting the delivery of goods and services across the ocean, and these ships have to avoid this area. And so while the storm is expected to grow and continue to grow in its wind field, which is going to place Maryland, New Jersey, Delaware, North Carolina, Virginia, South Carolina at risk for serious beach erosion and in some cases damage to coastal homes, the storm itself will remain out to sea and take this path. You can see this is the forecast wind radii. The winds are expected to generate quite a bit of wave action. This is a forecast from the GFS model. This is the U.S. operational forecast model, and it's valid tomorrow at 5 a.m. And I wanted to just show this to you because I have a pinpoint here, right here south of Cape Hatteras, just off the Outer Banks, with a 20-foot waves. And these are waves that would be crashing onto the shore, 20-foot waves. So we expect total inundation of areas like Buxton, North Carolina, Ocracoke, likely to be inundated, and it looks like the Outer Banks are thankfully, in many areas, being evacuated. When you move this to the north, watch them move this pin to the north, and we'll see these numbers change. Up towards Kitty Hawk, talking about 17-foot waves. Virginia Beach, 12-foot waves. Up towards Ocean City, Maryland, This is 9-foot waves tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Let's advance this. About noon, 13-foot waves with a period of 12 seconds coming into Ocean City, Maryland. That's about the same, probably up towards Bethany Beach, Delaware. 13-foot waves coming into Bethany Beach. And we do have, remember we showed you the live camera, we'll be showing you that tomorrow afternoon to show you what it looks like. And then as we advance this time here into Thursday afternoon, Thursday evening, this is at 6 p.m., 16-foot waves coming into Bethany Beach, Maryland, and Ocean City, Maryland as well. What about Cape May, New Jersey? Cape May, New Jersey, 14-foot waves. Atlantic City, New Jersey, 11-foot waves, 12-foot waves. Let's advance this a little bit higher in time, a little bit further ahead, where we're now Thursday around 10 p.m. Let's go into Friday morning. Look how much of the East Coast is still being impacted by these waves. How about out here on the Cape? 11-foot waves. Rhode Island, what about you? 8-foot waves. How about up towards Maine? You're protected a little bit here, 5-foot waves, but up towards Midland, the mid part of Maine coast and the upper part of Maine coast, 8-foot waves coming towards the Maine coast. And as we get further in time, watch how the waves just curve around the Cape, and they do start impacting like down East Maine here, close to Portland, 8-foot waves, 7-foot, 8-foot. So we're talking about coastal impacts all up and down of the coastline here as we talk about Hurricane Erin and its trek through the Atlantic Ocean. Thank goodness this storm is not going to make landfall in the United States. This would have been as impactful, if not more impactful, than Hurricane Sandy in 2012 if it would have come inland and ashore anywhere between the Outer Banks and Boston. Okay, I'd like to end this briefing with a few key points that I would like to share with you. Erin is expected to produce life-threatening surf and rip currents along the beaches of the Bahamas, much of the east coast of the United States, Bermuda, and Atlantic Canada during the next several days. Beachgoers in those areas should follow the advice from lifeguards, local authorities, and beach warning flags. Just stay out of the water. I know you might want to have fun, but it's too strong, and when it knocks you over or pulls you out, you're going to say, boy, I never expected that. Please stay safe and stay alive, most importantly. Storm surge flooding and tropical storm conditions are expected in the North Carolina Outer Banks beginning later today and lasting through Thursday. The storm's not really bolting through, so it's going to be lasting through the day. The storm surge will be accompanied by large waves, leading to significant beach erosion and overwashing, making some roads impassable. Also, tropical storm conditions are expected on Thursday along the Virginia coast. Wind gusts to tropical storm force are likely along portions of the remainder of the U.S. mid-Atlantic and southern New England coasts Thursday through early Friday. That means we're expecting strong gusty winds and dangerous battering waves from Ocean City, Maryland, up to Delaware, up to New Jersey, all the way up to New York and Long Island, up to Connecticut, Rhode Island, Cape Cod, and also up into Maine. So that's Thursday through early Friday. Tropical storm conditions are also possible in Bermuda on Thursday and Friday. This is a massive storm. Thank goodness it didn't move inland anywhere. It's not just a fish storm. That's why we cover it, because it has impacts to critical infrastructure over any part of the United States. We'll be back tomorrow with another update and some video footage, maybe towards the Maryland or Delaware coastline, and we'll keep you posted. Thanks so much for watching this update for the All Hazards Consortium and the Sensitive Information Sharing Environment. Please take care of yourself and also take care of your neighbors. They really do appreciate it. Be safe. Have yourself a good evening.